If you enjoy the Low Scale Gaming podcast, please leave us a like, review, and subscribe. Any feedback is welcomed, and I hope you enjoy the show.
Hello, and welcome back to the Low Scale Gaming Podcast. Fantasy's not here, so I'm Conan, and I'm hosting today. And Mage is here. How are you doing, Mage?
I have been better.
Yes, we were talking beforehand and had to cut you off. I was like, I need to hit record before we keep going in this, because this is good, not good stuff, but...
There it is. I've literally been doing that nonstop for like the last 30 minutes. Proud. I hate it so much.
So what's going on with you?
Okay, so... there's another symptom. There you go. So, I've been helping my mother out with community theater in our town. And we are putting up a performance of Elf. But, I've been trying to be good. Wear my mask pretty much everywhere I go. I practice what I preach for the most part. I've been being good, self-quarantine. This has been like the only social thing I've been doing, and I've been wearing my mask the entire time. Which is hard because I'm a cast member, not a cast member, I'm a crew member, and literally I'm like picking up these huge ass objects and moving things all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so it gets like really sweaty and stuff. Luckily, I'm not wearing glasses. I just wear contacts, so my glasses don't fog up or anything like that. But we had 10 COVID positive cast members from the last week, and so they ended up canceling rehearsal for today, and we're probably postponing the show to like January or something. Well, funny thing that we had those 10 positives because I ran like a huge fever yesterday, and like I have a whole bunch of other symptoms like I have some, like my legs are sore for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
I have a cough. I have a headache that just like won't stop. But it's like a pressure headache. And I got like a whole bunch of gastrointestinal issues. I just out of nowhere. And I've been having heartburn like all day. Like I didn't eat anything today except like an hour ago I made myself a chicken breast, and I had some leftover mashed potatoes from Thanksgiving, and I've had such bad heartburn from just eating that. I did not even a whole chicken breast, half of chicken breast.
Yeah. That's rough,
man.
And
like a scoop of mashed potatoes that I made on Thanksgiving, and it's just been awful. Like
just rough.
I have not stopped burping and having heartburn since dinner. I can't eat. I guess it's just the worst. I probably have COVID. I'm getting tested tomorrow though.
Well, hopefully it's not COVID. But
I pray to God not. The fever came on quick, but it also left quick, which makes me think I had like a mild cold.
Yeah.
But it's weird because a lot of symptoms of flu and cold are also symptoms of COVID.
And they look very similar.
Yeah. And I have a epidemiologist friend. Actually, and he's really good at his job and stuff, but he actually works for one of the big hospitals in Oklahoma. And as like one of the head epidemiologists.
It's a fun word to say.
Which if you don't know what that is, it's the doctors that study epidemics and how to deal with them, and like what protocols to take.
They're the ones that everybody's ignored so far with all of this.
Yeah. So the ones that have been telling us constantly to wear our masks, wash our hands, that we need to start social distancing. They're the ones that have been doing all of that and have been getting crapped on this entire time when they've been right. But one of my best friends is an epidemiologist, and he's saying like, he told me that like they've had positive cases where they've literally just had like diarrhea and that's it. And I'm like, well, crap. I could definitely have it. I mean, they get positive cases where like they don't have any symptoms at all, and it's like they're asymptomatic. So, I mean, it's crazy.
It's definitely wild times. Like,
yeah, it's such a contagious disease, and it can range from not like being nothing to being mildly annoying to be life threatening. Like, it's such a freaking weird disease.
yeah, it's so all over the place. Like, well, hopefully your test goes well tomorrow. Like,
Right. And if I didn't get contacted on on that exposure and those other positive COVID tests, I would not think I had COVID at all. I'd probably be like, oh, I have like a cold or something.
yeah,
That's going to go away in like a day or two.
but just because the other
But
stuff, it kind of happened around you, just kind of what you're thinking.
well, it was like I was there. Like,
Yeah.
we only have like 30 people in the theater, so it's like 1/3 of them caught COVID.
I'm probably in the third. There's a decent chance.
Yeah, so it's like,
yeah.
if a third of those people caught COVID, and I have some symptoms, I better get tested just in case.
Oh, goodness gracious. Yeah, that's hopefully, yeah. Well, at least hopefully you can get some answers tomorrow. And, well, does your place up there do the rapid test?
Well, so the clinic that I'm going to tomorrow, they actually have the machine. I think it's called a PCR that does the actual COVID tests on site.
Oh.
So I can get it within like 90 minutes. Where most people, when they take the test, they have to get it delivered to the place that has that machine.
Yeah.
Which is why those tests take about 24 to 48 hours. Mine would not take that long to get the results back.
Well, that's hopefully you'll know quick then. So that's nice. I wish mine would have been that fast. Because I guess my second one, I took one before the week before Thanksgiving, 2 weeks ago. I took it on Friday and had gotten my test back on Monday. So I mean that one was pretty quick, but the first one I had taken took like 2 weeks to get results back on. Granted, that was pretty early on into nobody knowing what they were doing, but still, I was just like, man, this seems kind of backwards that, we've got to get these tests done so if you have it to keep from being around people, but it took so long to get those back that, yeah, I don't know. I'm just kind of talking in circles now, but
yeah, no, man, I get it. But that's my fail of the week. I hope my symptoms don't get worse. I hope I get better quick, and that my fears are not realized. But
yeah,
man, I was high risk area, even wearing a mask the entire time and doing everything right.
Yeah, at least you're being like relatively smart about it though. Like just doing what you can with the situation you're dealt. So
I'm trying.
Test results, I guess, is what I put on my fail. Oh, I was trying to think of what even that meant since we just kind of jumped straight into fails.
We're talking about your low sperm count.
So, we talked about it off the recording, so I'll just kind of do a little bit of a catch up. I had to do a semen analysis. I won't get into what all that entailed, but I'm sure you can use your imagination. Got the results of those back. Everything pretty much checked out. They said that I do have some white blood cells in the mix, which is kind of one of those things. It's a symptom that you can find off of like WebMD that could be absolutely nothing, or it could just be like the worst thing ever. You know what I mean?
You got prostate cancer.
Yeah, it's like, oh, it could just be one of those things. Like if you haven't gone to the bathroom in a couple hours, it could be from that, or you could have dick cancer. Like,
It's all over the place.
Yeah, so I have to schedule another one and go back in for that. So, which is kind of a weird thing because she had said that everything checked out except for that. That was, I guess, whatever the normal ratio to like healthy swimmers to ones that are messed up to whatever the normal numbers are. I was right there being just normal. It was just that I had the extra white blood cells that they were just like, well, let's do this again to see if it's something else going on.
You can better be safe than sorry.
Oh yeah,
And you know what? If it turned out to be something worse, then you probably caught it really early.
and that's what they're hoping. Like that's what I really like about this new doctor. Like he's actually wanting to do stuff with us and like get us checked out and cross out all the extra boxes just so we know or don't know whatever's going on. And it's that part of it has been really nice. So I'm glad that we've moved to him as our doctor for this stuff. So, but yeah, I couldn't really think of what much else of a fail. Did we recorded last week? Didn't we?
Yeah, we recorded Thursday.
Okay.
Not like this Thursday, the Thursday before Thursday.
Yeah. Okay.
I have a question, and I don't know if you want to edit it out of this recording or not, but you and your wife, you've been doing this stuff for a while. Is it possible for you guys to like, I don't know, have like the egg and the semen be mixed out and then planted into your wife's womb?
Yes. So if I remember correct, that's in vitro fertilization, IVF, which is totally possible. It's just like $20,000 a time and is not covered by any sort of insurance. So that's just $20K out of pocket and is still only like a percentage to be successful.
Oof.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was like, I thought it was like a guaranteed thing and not like a.
And see, that's what we thought too. They were like, okay, but it is the highest percentage chance of the other options, but it's still just a percentage. So it is on the table, but we've kind of come to the agreement between us that that's not really on the table, because if we're dropping that kind of money on a flip of a coin or less probability, that we would rather go through other options that are more financially viable. I guess I'll say it like that. Like, because if we're spending 17,000 for what should be the free and fun part, to then also have to pay all of the normal stuff after that, we're just kind of setting ourselves up for financial ruin before we're even getting going.
Yeah, that's fair.
So
you get one of those Chinese babies that no one wants.
Jeez, Mage with the hot takes. But I know that, like, especially doing the DHS stuff, I know like adoption and stuff like that's always on the table. I don't know if I would want to do the foster thing after seeing more firsthand that whole side of stuff, but
fostering is hard, and praise any family that does that. That's hard.
Yeah, and it's also like not guaranteed that any kid that gets placed is staying with that family. Like, the end goal for every case is some sort of reunification, like, at least through DH. I don't know. Yeah, so we're getting into weird stuff, but sorry, I had a leftover Hawaiian roll that I was sitting on my desk. I was like, I need to eat this.
Dude, that's fair. Man, the Hawaiian rolls are so good.
Yeah, they are. We had some for Thanksgiving. Said it was just kind of finishing off the roll, the pack tonight for dinner.
We did too. I made myself like 2 turkey and cheese sandwiches yesterday with the Hawaiian roll, and then he got really bad heartburn, so I didn't eat for the rest of the day.
We see how well that worked
It's been
out.
constant, man. Constant.
Oh, okay.
I hate my body.
Well, hopefully it can get back to some sort of normalcy soon. Excuse me. Goodness, I'm gassy now. You've got it pushed over onto me. But
I know. It's the worst.
okay, I do not really have a topic one this week. Since we haven't had work and Finn hasn't really been at school, so it's just kind of a free for all for topic one. Anything you care to talk about?
I mean, not really. We had a good conversation about COVID and stuff.
Yeah.
I do. So I was watching. Trump did all those recounts and stuff on the votes. Like he appealed for recounts like over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm.
In every state that's had a recount has just popped up more votes for Biden.
Kind of backfiring on him.
It's literally icing on the cake. It's been so funny. Like I think like Georgia had like 182 votes for Biden. Wisconsin had like 100 votes more for Biden. I know Pennsylvania has more votes for Biden after recounting. It's been so funny.
I still have people on my Facebook just posting, like even before we got on here, saw somebody posted the United States map of like how each county voted, and it's how at the offset, it looks primarily red because like a lot of the Republican counties in the middle of the United States are 100% Republican, but then all of the cities on the coasts and like southern Texas that are just really small individual counties are blue. And it's like the caption was like, "So you're telling me the blue guy won?" And I was like, "Yes, because people vote. Dirt doesn't vote."
Yeah, land doesn't vote. Population votes. Those where the people live.
If individual stalks of corn and plants could vote, we're in a different boat. But
they still probably vote for Biden because Trump has been bankrupting the farmers. So
crazy how that works out. Oh, man. So yeah, it's just dumb people like that. It's not even worth engaging with them anymore because I'm just shut up. Go away.
It's like when a child looks at two things, and so when I did developmental psych, you have different stages of development in your life, and so children think fundamentally differently than adults do, and they prove that by like showing a video where they had like it was 2 rows of like coins, except the coins were like tightly packed in a line and one row, and then spread out on another row. It's the same number of coins and same value. And they asked the child which row had more money on it, even though it had the same amount of money, and they would always pick the row that the coins were more spread out on.
Yeah,
it's exactly that same kind of logic. Like, it's like they are no better than children.
Did they tell
take that land votes over people?
Did they tell the kids that each one of the stacks is the same amount of money beforehand, and they still chose incorrectly? Or was it just look at these 2 stacks and tell me which one has more?
I don't remember the exact bit, but I know that they were exactly the same amount.
Yeah.
And it was just like,
yeah, that's I don't understand how people can't grasp that. Like I can understand kids looking at stacks of quarters and stuff, but kids don't always have that same kind of
right. I don't blame
object
the kids
permanency.
For not knowing. Yeah. I don't blame the kids for not knowing, but I can blame adults for not knowing.
Yeah, I can blame adults for being
You're
dumb.
Supposed to be beyond that You're supposed to be beyond that developmental stage.
Absolutely. Uh, People are dumb, man. There's not a whole lot of other ways to get around that one.
You know, we real dumb. Like,
Big
you
dumb.
get told the same thing over and over and over again, still believe something else. You know.
Good lord. Okay. Um, let's just talk video game stuff, I guess. So like the consoles are out. You said there's a couple games that got released. Did you
So
go ahead?
nothing on the Xbox Series X and the PS5. There are no exclusive games for just those consoles yet. So everything that's out for those two systems is also out for the Xbox One and the PS4.
Oh,
Um, so there's really no point in buying a new console right now because there's nothing exclusively for those consoles.
but isn't Sony still has PlayStation exclusives?
Right, right,
That
right.
still on
The
both.
PlayStation exclusives that, like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, it's not a PlayStation exclusive, but Assassin's Creed Valhalla came out, and it did come out for the new systems, but it also came out for the previous systems. So, like, if you have a previous system, you don't have to buy a new system to play the game, um, or anything like that. There's not a game out right now that you have to buy the new system for. Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Okay. Just the way that entered my brain didn't make sense at first, but I got you.
Yeah, you don't need a new system yet,
Yeah.
but people are going nuts over those systems.
Oh yeah.
Like, especially with like the pandemic and all that stuff, they they've had like a really bad. I know PS5 um, didn't have enough stock in, and like so some people bought like a whole bunch of them, and I tried to started reselling them for like thousands of dollars.
People are the grossest, man. Like,
Yeah, like someone bought it. I think on eBay, someone was trying to sell the PS5 for like $5,000.
and
Typically
go ahead.
around $1,000 or something.
The
It's
worst
just been,
part is like people will actually pay that from people on reselling on eBay. Like,
oh yeah, it's just like scalpers do on at the outside of a football game, man. You can get a
so
ticket, but for the premium price.
yeah.
I just want you to know that I'm burping literally every single time I have it muted.
Oh, well, you're muting it
Every
pretty
time I'm not
well.
talking, I'm burping. Yeah, every time I'm not talking, I'm burping.
Well, you're muting it pretty well because I wouldn't have been able to tell if you hadn't have said anything. So, kudos to you.
Yeah,
But
thank you, Heartburn.
if there's an extended period of silence, I'll try to fill it best that I can.
Why are human bodies so gross, man?
For real though.
The worst.
Okay. Like I've seen and I've heard a bunch about the new Spider-Man, which honestly, like I really want to still play the first one, which with my brother's current predicament, I might see if I can borrow his PlayStation. Um, I don't know why I'm just now thinking about that.
I mean, he's not using it.
He's not. Um, I might have
And
to.
this is mine.
Yeah, I might have to borrow that at Christmas time whenever I'm back home, and just bring it home with me because I think he's. Yeah. Okay. I might make that a thing. So I've heard good things
So
about
now I'm going to
Miles.
write that down real quick.
Yeah. So I've heard good things about Miles Morales. I obviously I haven't seen it myself because I don't have a PlayStation. After we just talked about not having one, um,
Yeah, so I'm a little confused. Is Miles Morales like a DLC to the Spider-Man game?
so it's a standalone game, but a um, it's not a full fledged, full price standalone game. So the because I've seen boxes for it at Walmart where you can buy it, so it comes in its own box essentially. if he still had disk drives, but it uses the same assets from Spider-Man 1 or the most recent one that
Right.
have just kind of been, I don't want to say reskinned, but retuned, and so kind of a DLC in that regard, but it's its own thing from what I've seen and been
Okay. So
heard.
it's not. So it doesn't take place in that Spider-Man game or
It
that universe or whatever.
it seems like it's a separate physical disc. I don't, as far as in game, if it's the same city, if it's the same universe, I would assume it'd be different because Miles is Spider-Man and not Peter. Because I'm assuming Peter is still Spider-Man in the most recent full-fledged one. Does that sound right?
Now I gotta look it up. I don't know.
Yeah. So I'm assuming there's something that happens. I don't know if it's just a standalone credit scene at the beginning. Hey, we're in a different Spider-Verse or whatever it is. I don't know how all that goes, but as far as physical retail copies, it seems to be its own standalone thing.
Man, they need to make another Spider-Verse movie. That movie was so good.
I heard that. I think they are.
Did you watch it?
Oh yeah, another Spider Verse movie. Spider-Man Into Spider-Verse sequel set spring 2022 release date. The film hits theaters April 8th, 2022. Sony has a set date for Miles Morales to web sling back into theaters. The sequel to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Okay, so yeah, April 2022.
Nice. I'm excited. That was like one of my favorite Spider-Man movies.
That one didn't.
So good.
Did it come to actual theaters?
Oh yeah, I watched it in theaters. It was great.
Okay, because I just saw it whenever it came to Netflix. Because I don't guess I just thought it was going to be any good, so I just waited till Netflix.
Yeah, you and all those animation haters, the worst.
So yeah, I don't even remember if that's when we were in Texas. Like when did that come out? Into the Spy. If I could spell.
2018 or something.
Into the Spider-Verse is a 2018. Yeah.
Oh damn, I was right. 2018.
Can I get an actual date and not just release?
It was in like
December 2018.
Maybe like winter.
So yeah, so we would have been
Dang.
Yeah, we would have been in Texas still. And it wasn't worth driving an hour and a half to Amarillo to go watch a movie I was kind of on the fence about.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah, I forgot that you had to do that. That sucked.
Yeah,
I can understand why you moved.
Yeah, dude, that part.
Either live in Amarillo or get out of Texas.
Yeah. Because we were, about an hour and a half from Amarillo. We were about an hour to another Walmart going south or straight north. And it's that part sucked, but
Did your town have like 50 people in it that you didn't have a Walmart there?
pretty much. They had a Dollar General. The Family Dollar went out of business while we were there. You
mean that Family Dollar couldn't survive in that podunk town that you lived in?
Because the Dollar General ran them out of town. This town ain't big enough for two dollar stores.
God dang it. I can't believe you lived there as long as you did. That's kind of incredible.
I mean,
you have some perseverance, my friend.
It was a full year. I mean, we couldn't get out of our contract mid-year teaching, so we were kind of stuck regardless. But the town itself wasn't bad. It was just so far removed from everything. That's the part that sucked. As I was talking with, who was I talking with about living? Oh, whenever I went back home to see one of my friends who came down for his sister's wedding. and I stopped at one of the other guys I went to school with. He owns a pawn shop back home, so I stopped in and talked with him for a bit, and he was talking about how he loves living in the town he grew up in, and born and raised in the same town, blah blah blah. And I cannot, I couldn't do it, man. Like, I hated the small town we lived in, and I hated my hometown, even though it was a bigger town. It was so far removed from anything and everything that,
There's just so much more to do in cities.
yeah. And he was like, "Oh no, that was my thing." He's like, I wanted to be just right there next to the place I grew up at, the house I was born in, and like, I do not understand that mentality. It will never be my mentality. I don't get it.
I mean, I get it, but I don't agree with it. But to each their own, man. If that's what makes them happy, that's what makes them happy.
Oh yeah, it's like, no judgment, but it's like, there's no way I could do that. Like, with my parents living in the same town, like, no.
Yeah, I don't
Nope.
need to be criticized 24/7.
Nope, nope, nope. Not about it.
Thanks, Mom. I realize my microwave isn't clean enough.
That's what I got married for.
So we went to go visit my sister for Thanksgiving. We actually had Thanksgiving at my sister's place.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really nice. Like we hung out and stuff and everything else like that. But for whatever reason, my mom decided that she just needed to clean everything, even though the house wasn't dirty.
Dude, like, ladies are like that. Like,
So she's gonna hear about it. She's gonna hear about it because she listens to this to our podcast on Spotify.
nice. Like,
But
go ahead.
no, it was just funny. She decided that she needed to clean everything. She cleaned the whole kitchen, the stove, the microwave. Uh, and I mean, good on her, I guess. But like the house wasn't dirty. My sister let her do it, so I don't know if she got offended by it at all. But I was just kind of like, okay,
whatever. Like, my wife gets like that too. Like, whenever we get into our little cleaning sprees, and it's like, I'll look over something and it's like, it didn't need to be cleaned. There was other stuff that needed to be cleaned before that, and then I just didn't go back to it. Like, it's not that. Yeah.
But then they're like, hey, no, screw you. This needs to be cleaned now, and not like generally wiped. I mean like thoroughly cleaned. Like I'm gonna spend 2 hours cleaning this thing.
Yeah.
It's like, damn. Well, all right then.
Oh man, yeah. That's because we cleaned on Saturday, but we just hadn't done anything for several days because holiday and Thanksgiving, all that sort of stuff. But we needed it. I shampooed the carpets and did all that sort of stuff. Like, man, that little carpet shampooer that we got has paid for itself like so many times over already. It's ridiculous.
How much did it cost?
It was like $175, $200, something like that. So I mean, it was not a cheap little deal, but it does really well. I tried to get it out to do with in my car because it's got a little attachment, little hose attachment that you can not have to have the big bulky thing for. But it got too cold and too dark too fast, so I kind of gave up on that. But
Yeah, that's fair. Do you have one of those like awesome vacuum cleaners, like the Dyson vacuum cleaner?
oh no, we've got a little $20 Walmart one that we've had for. I think we bought it when we moved to Texas because the
I bought
one.
like it's not cordless, but it's one of those lightweight ones that it had really good sucking power though. But it was only like $50 something, and I really liked it, which makes me wonder if like those Dyson ones are like the coolest things in the world.
Yeah, I'm sure they do really well, but part of me just can't justify spending that kind of money on something like that because my butthole is so tight. Like,
You you and your wife both have full-time jobs.
well, see, that being
And you
said,
can't.
like part of my win this week is that we made an adult purchase and we bought new furniture. So like we have a new couch and recliner set
What?
coming, so that's really cool. But it also was like, oh god, we just spent X amount of money on this, but
You
was
know what, man? What's the point of having money if you don't spend it?
so that was my other thing. I was just like I knew that she was wanting to get some, and that's what she wanted. And we were kind of looking around searching for stuff and found we were trying to do like the consignment shops, but we're not able to find anything that
If
was
you wanted a really good deal, you should go to the flea market.
see. And a part of us we didn't want to mess with a flea market for furniture during a pandemic,
Yeah, that's fair.
but
Now, if you want to get potentially robbed goods, you can go to the flea market. Real cheap
yeah.
electronics that are questionably received by the purchaser. You know? I went to a flea market once and they were selling they were like headphones or something that were like really expensive headphones that were really nice headphones.
Yeah.
And they were selling it for like pennies to the dollar. And I'm just like, these are definitely stolen.
Yeah. These are
Because he had like a whole stack of them too. Like, for selling it less than retail, I'm just like, these are so stolen.
yeah, either stolen or they're not real.
Like super hot goods.
Yeah. Man.
God, I love flea markets.
See, I usually try to stay away from crowds, like at all costs, because that's just my mentality.
And this was before the pandemic, right?
Oh yeah, just in general. Like, if I don't have to be
That
around people,
introvert.
I would rather not.
That's fair. That's fair.
But
Oh, I guess you already did your win of the week. I guess I'll do mine,
okay.
which is just Thanksgiving. Well, I already talked about it though, because it's just Thanksgiving at sister's house. I love Thanksgiving. It's my favorite holiday. Literally, the entire day we cook and just eat, and that makes it the best holiday.
Food is always a good thing.
Like, how can you be unhappy when you just eat copious amounts of food for the whole day? I mean, it sucked that I got sick like right after, but
Yeah. But
the process of cooking and eating a bunch of food,
yeah,
was not unsatisfying.
the rest of that was pretty nice. I kind of had another part of mine too, which was just Thanksgiving also. Like, we were on the fence about how we felt about the COVID restrictions, canceling with family members and all of that, and just doing stuff on our own. But it turned out really nice. Like, I really enjoyed just sitting at home and not having to really entertain anybody, and not, I don't want to say this because it sounds real crappy, but I really enjoyed not having to be around my family. Like,
Yeah, that's fair. You've also had to deal with your family a whole lot in the last month.
yeah, well, like, even like my immediate family, I'm okay with. Like, it's the extended family that you really only see at big holidays that get on my nerves, because there are certain family members whose excrement doesn't smell bad, and they just want you to know that at all times. You know what I mean? That's
Quit trying to make me feel less than.
yeah. It's like, yeah,
What kind of expectations are you expecting to have here?
yeah. No, and It's because like their
I
drama
have a
is
job.
always
I have a
more
wife. What
important.
more can you ask of me?
Yeah. It's like,
Yes, I have a job. I have a wife. What more can you ask of me?
yeah. But yeah, I'm okay kind of going short this week. We're sitting at about 40 in.
That's fair. Do you want to do the would you rather?
I'm down with that. Okay, so we'll start with kind of the silly one. Would you rather have perfect eyes, perfect skin, or perfect teeth?
Okay, so I already have perfect teeth, and my skin is pretty much unblemished, so perfect eyes.
Fair enough. I was saying because I was kind of
I'm
along
sorry
this.
that I'm 2/3 perfect. So
Yeah, I was kind of on the same lines because like I don't have perfect teeth, but they're not like super jacked up. Um,
it's one of the few things that I have that is perfect is my teeth.
yeah, I
Like I've
had
literally had dentists tell me that people would pay thousands of dollars to have teeth like mine. Like I don't know how I lucked out, but they all came in perfectly straight. They're like there's nothing wrong with them whatsoever. Like I don't know how it came that way.
well, I wish we were all as cool as you, Mage.
I know I am unlucky in pretty much everything else, but
You
teeth I
luck,
got down.
you got that one down. Um, I'm kind of with you. Like my teeth are not horrible. Like they're not the best. Like I need to get some more work done on them. But and then my skin, I had bad acne when I was in like junior high, early high school, like everybody else, but kind of grew out of it. But I have had garbage eyes since I was like 5, and I've never been able to wear contacts, so I've always had to wear glasses. And
How come you've never been able to wear contacts?
I I was never able to like keep them in my eyes. Like they were never comfortable enough for me to wear them. Like, because we tried them before, and like I could physically wear them and get them in, and but after like an
Pop them on your
hour,
eyeball a little bit.
yeah, like after about an hour, like I couldn't stand to have them in my eyes anymore, and would want to rip them out of my face. So it's like it's not even worth. I couldn't wear them to school because by the time first hour is over, I'm taking them out, and it's like, well, it's not even the point. So if I can't wear them all day, like, what's the point of even putting them on in the morning?
Yeah, that's fair. When was the last time you put on contacts?
God, it's been years. Like, it's probably been since high school. Like, I don't think it's even been since college because we got to the point where we were just tired of paying for them because I could never wear them.
Okay, well that's not too. That's not too many years ago,
Yeah.
unless you're like 10 years older than I thought you were.
Well, I mean, I graduated in 2009, so I mean, it's been probably at least a decade since I've had them in.
Because I know that like we've had contacts for a while, but like I know that the first time my mom tried it on contacts, like she got an infection, so she literally couldn't wear them. But now she wears them all the time because when she first got contacts, she was like in high school. That was back in the 1970s. So 1970s contacts and 2020 contacts much different.
Okay, yeah, I'm sure that one is way different. Like I'm not quite that old. No
Well,
offense to your mother.
I was thinking, it was like, did you try contacts back when you were in elementary?
Yeah, no, it's
To
because
now.
I think
I
it
was like, you
was,
probably should give them a try if you want to, because they're probably different from when you were in elementary than they are now.
and I'm like we're honestly to the point where I like almost financially able to consider LASIK legitimately. So it's
Well, the younger you get it, the more benefit you have.
well, there was a lady.
Because
Go ahead.
because I talked to my eye doctor about LASIK, and if your eyes aren't that bad, then the LASIK's pretty good, especially if you're younger too, because all eyes naturally deteriorate with age. So you'll still have that natural deterioration with age, but with the LASIK, um, you'll have perfect vision for longer if you get it earlier. If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Well, I mean, I know. I smell what you're stepping in.
Yeah, I was having a hard time explaining it, but
Yeah, no, I got you. One of the ladies at the office had it a couple years ago and was saying that, it was one of the best decisions she ever made or best gifts that she had ever gotten kind of thing. And that she was kind of in the same boat I am in, and just had horrible eyesight for the longest time and just was finally able to kind of do something about it more or less. So,
what's your prescription?
oh God, I don't even know. Bad.
Because I guess mine's bad, but it's not like bad, if that makes sense. I have -2 and -2.5, which means I'm nearsighted. So it's like 18, 20. So for every 20 feet, I see 18, something like that.
Yeah, see, I think mine's the other way. I think I'm like a 0.25 or something like that. Like, um, because I can see up close, but I can't see far away.
Yeah,
Like,
no, both nearsighted.
okay, yeah, because I had to go to the DMV to get my driver's license fixed last weekend or last week, and she had to take my picture for a new license. And she said, "Okay, I need you to take your hat and your mask and your glasses off and stare at the camera over here." So I turned around, did all the stuff and looked at it. And she's like, "Can you stare at the little blue dot?" And I said, "What blue dot?" And she said, "The one underneath the lens." And I was like, "I can't see any of that." And she said, "Are you serious?" And
Where is the
I
lens?
put it back on and I found what she was looking at, and I was like, "Yeah, it's all just a blur, lady." Like, and she said, "Can you see with your glasses on?" I was like, "Of course I can. That's why I wear the damn glasses." Like, like if I didn't, man, that was the first edit too, and that's all my fault. She literally just like, "Can you see with your glasses on?" And it's like, why would I wear them if I couldn't? Like,
I just love how like people with perfect vision have no
the,
concept of what it's like to be nearsighted or farsighted.
none. Like, what do you mean you
Like
can't see
zero.
it?
Yeah, like, like or like kids, like how many fingers am I holding up? It's like obviously two. I don't see double. I just see blurry.
Yeah.
Like,
Or it's
being
like,
unfocused and seeing multiple are two different things.
yeah. I saw a deal one time. It was a drawing of like what it's like to drive at night with an astigmatism. Do you have astigmatisms also?
I think I have a very minor one.
Okay, because I have some pretty gnarly astigmatisms apparently, and it is the most accurate thing. And it was just like each little headlight or street lamp formed like an X over it, and it's just these
Yeah,
big X's everywhere, and you can't see anything. And all the comments were like, "How do people live like this? This is a everyday ordeal, dude. Like, you don't."
we prevail. That's how.
Yeah.
We strive over adversity.
For real though.
Yeah, man. I kind of want LASIK just to feel like what it's like to have 20/20 vision for once.
Right.
To wake up and not see blurry.
It would be pretty freaking sweet, I'm not gonna lie. And I would be about it. But it's also expensive.
I think some insurance pays for some of it.
Might be worth looking into. We're also kind of burning through our insurance stuff right now. Excuse me. So I actually need to make a couple calls about insurance stuff tomorrow about if people are in our coverage plan, whatever that word is, or not. I forgot about that. One more thing I've got to do tomorrow. But
Oh, sorry. I did not mean to be muted for that long. I literally burped for like the last 30 seconds.
oh, that's gross.
Thank you, COVID.
Yeah.
Thank you, potential COVID.
And thank you, mute button.
Huh?
And thank you to the mute button.
Yeah. My push to talk has been working very well this session.
Yeah. Okay, I've got one other would you rather. So, would you rather visit heaven or hell? So, you get about 30 minutes and have someone kind of explain everything and show you around, and then you're sent back to normal life.
So the real question is, do I change with negative reinforcement or with positive reinforcement? Because like the only reason I would visit one would be like how do I want to improve, or what would be the best way for me to improve in myself, I guess. So do I improve by fear mongering myself and seeing the horrors of hell, or do I improve by looking at heaven and seeing all the good stuff in it and wanting to be there? That's a good question.
Okay, I didn't think that deep into it, honestly. Like,
For whatever reason, that's where my brain went when I read it.
that's okay. That's interesting. Like, because yeah, that's not where I went with it, but it's an interesting kind of interesting way to look at it for sure.
Maybe I'm self-centered, and that's why I thought of it that way.
I guess. I say that's
So I don't. Yeah, it's like what benefit does this bring me? What, looking at heaven or looking at hell? I don't know, man. I guess heaven, but I don't know if positive reinforcement really helps me. But I know negative reinforcement doesn't. If that makes sense. So like, I know with myself, if I get in trouble or something, I just shut down. Like I close myself off. Whereas like, so I guess heaven. I guess positive reinforcement is the way for me. So that's how I'd improve myself.
okay.
Also, it'd be kind of cool to see what the goal is.
I see. Like I could go either way with it. Like I hate being so wishy washy with stuff like that. Like,
Which is one of the reasons why I thought it was like of the positive negative reinforcement thing, because that's also like helps me make decisions like that.
yeah.
Is viewing it in a different light.
Like I feel like using your mindset, like I feel like seeing hell would work better for me. Like, sorry,
Like
yeah, deep thought.
you need to be scared straight.
Yeah, kind of like.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of why I was thinking. I was like, I know for a fact negative reinforcement does not work with me. Like you can tell me all the crap that you want to, or whatever, or yell at me all you want. I'm not going to care. Like I'm going to shut down and tune you out is what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Like I do not respond well to negative reinforcement whatsoever. And that's just who I am. That's who I've always been. Like, so I guess positive reinforcement is the only way to go.
Well, I guess it's if you know that about yourself, then it just kind of works out for you. Like I've never really thought like that about myself to be able to have that reflection about myself, if that sentence makes sense after I've said it out loud. um So yeah, I don't.
No, that's fair.
I would probably go the hell
Well, I
route
mean, like,
myself.
so, well, like, what was, what, like, when your parents were teaching you, what worked, what stuck with you?
In regards to what?
Like, when you got in trouble or when you did something well. What do you remember the stuff that you did well and got positive reinforcement with? Do you still continue to do those things well? Or the stuff you got in trouble for, are you still doing those things? Like, did the negative reinforcement work or did the positive reinforcement work?
It's kind of a weird. I can't really think of any. Like, I was one of those kids that never got in trouble because I didn't want to lose the privilege to do band stuff. So it's kind of the threat of the negative that worked for me, I guess. Like, but it was also a
So,
positive that, if I did these things, like, I could still go on these trips and do the thing. Like,
right. But the threat is what you remember. So negative reinforcement will probably work on you.
yeah.
Whereas me, I would be a good kid because I had fun doing that stuff. where, like, if I got yelled at doing that stuff, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to give them the satisfaction of messing with me that way. I'm going to keep doing whatever I want to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm. Yeah, I don't know. It's a weird way to think. Like, I kind of like doing these because you seem to have a more varied approach to stuff than what I normally tend to have, which
I'm
is,
too damn introspective.
I guess so.
like, I think things too hard. But I mean, if you think about it, that's exactly what the Bible is. I mean, what heaven and hell is. It's positive reinforcement versus negative reinforcement. I mean, if you take out the religious aspect of it, you know? Like, positive reinforcement is heaven. Look, this is what you'll get if you do good things. Like, you get rewarded for being a good person. You get all these good stuff happen to you. Where hell, it's like, this is what's going to happen to you. This is your punishment if you're a bad person. You know, so it's the exact same thing, just in a religious ideal.
I kind of checked out of organized religion before I was kind of to that point, unfortunately. Yeah, I just kind of got to the point in high school where I was like, this is stupid. Like, none of you guys actually do anything you talk about on Sunday mornings. So I'm just go away kind of things.
Yeah, we are super wishy-washy. Like, I don't know. I have mixed feelings on organized religion. Like, obviously, I mean, I believe in God and stuff, but I also I don't have the same concept that a lot of people have of God, where like people think of it as kind of like a person, and they have like depictions of like the white Jesus or something like that, or God being a male or something like that. I kind of view more of God like, this is weird, but like kind of like life itself, if that makes sense.
We're getting kind of deep.
Well, so I like to look into things, and I know that the Hebrew for the Hebrew spelling for God translates to breath, if that makes sense, like that. So it's just like weird things like that, like how the Bible translates in Hebrew and how it translates in Greek and stuff like that. Where like God isn't like a person, but rather an entity,
Yeah,
kind of a deal. So it's, I don't know. Like, I definitely believe that God exists, but I don't. I also think that the goals that Christians have are not good goals. Like, I feel like we always look at trying to get to heaven instead of trying to make a heaven on earth, which I think is what I think Christianity's goal should be, trying to make a heaven on earth, and rather than trying to get to heaven after death.
Get my card stamped here so I can get to the good place.
Yeah. Like, I feel like everyone's trying to do that thing and then failing miserably at it because we're all terrible human beings. Instead of trying to make the good place earth itself.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
No, I totally get you on that side, because like I think that kind of feeds into my whole side of it. Like, you just hear stuff on Sundays and like, this is what you're striving for, but then, those same people, the same guy that's talking to you Sunday mornings and the same guy who's, diddling his foster kid, like, so it's kind of in one ear and out the other at some point. It's like, you're the guy that's supposed to be doing this, setting these examples, and
right. And I mean, that's just kind of like, why do we have to wait to get to heaven? Like, what's the point of what's the point of living on earth if you're not going to do anything with it, if that makes sense? If you're not going to make the world a better place, then what's the point of your life, kind of a deal?
Yeah. Leave it better than you came in, or whatever that saying is.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like how when you're a Boy Scout and you go camping, you leave the campsite better than when you left it. Like, you leave the campsite better than where you saw it, or you got it cleaner or something. I feel like that should be Christians' goal rather than trying to get to heaven. And by doing that, they get to heaven. So it's like a win-win scenario, but they're too focused on getting to heaven rather than making the heaven on earth.
Okay. This conversation went some places.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Low Scale Gaming talks about religion.
Yeah. Low Scale Theology. Done. There's our title. We got it. Can you imagine having to explain that conversation to Finn?
He'd have to listen to it.
It would, like, I was listening to last week's episode. Oh yeah, because we talked about the food train. How's your mom doing with all that, by the way, after her stuff?
Oh, she's doing way better.
Good.
She did her checkup stuff. Everything's doing real well. She's able to drive again and all that stuff. She has some scars on her neck, but she doesn't have to wear the neck brace anymore.
Good.
So it's been pretty good.
Good. Glad she's doing well. So that is good to hear. But yeah, I was listening back to that and trying to explain the food train. It's just like, I don't understand how you don't get this, but you're not even listening to what we're trying to explain it, and you're refusing to listen. Like,
as is typical.
Right.
Yeah, he has to go review it real quick.
I know he won't listen to these, so it is what it is. He'll listen to like the first 30 minutes or the first, like, the intro, and you're like, oh, Conan sounds like garbage. I'm going to make fun of him next week, blah, 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 but then that'll be it, so.
Yeah. Oh, Finn's a funny person.
He is a character.
He is. Well, if that's all we have for this week.
Yeah, that looks like we've already got our wins are in. We just went like way out of order, but that's all right. But all right, yeah, we can go ahead and wrap this up.
We went super mega off script.
Yeah.
There was no semblance of order in this podcast
episode.
Yeah.
That's all right. Sometimes you kind of have to just go off the rails to reset yourself. So, But all right, well, thanks everybody for listening. You can follow us on Twitter, SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, and Spotify at Low Scale Gaming. If you want us to talk about something in particular or want to ask us a question, you can send us a tweet or email us at lowscalegaming@gmail.com. I should probably actually check the email. I don't know if Finn actually checks it or not. I know whenever he gets onto the script, he gets on it through the Gmail account, but I don't think I've ever actually checked the Gmail myself. So I might actually check that.
So if you've been sending us emails, we apologize.
Yeah. If there's any there, we will unload. Yeah, we will unload all of them next week. But yeah.
All of them. We're going to have a 3-hour episode of
Yes.
just emails.
So load us up between now and then. That'd be funny. But okay, well, yeah, thanks for listening. We'll catch you next week. Bye.
Bye.